So you just got your 200-hour teacher training certificate and you want to get out there and start teaching classes. But you've come to the realization that you don't feel well prepared or qualified enough to do it. So I'm here to give you a few tips that can hopefully get you over that hurdle and allow you to feel a little more prepared to go out there and start teaching. I'm Matthew Downard. I've been teaching for around 10 years. I've taught over 8,000 hours worth of classes, workshops, teacher trainings, and so on. And what I'm going to share with you is just hopefully some information that can allow you to just get over that hump and get out there. So in no particular order, I'm just going to start spitballing them out there for you. The first one I would say is just give yourself permission to suck, okay? More than likely, the people that come to your class, they're on your side. They want to see you succeed. So they're not coming to class to judge you and just ridicule you the entire time, even though that might happen. But most of the time, they're coming for a good experience. And literally, if you just teach a well-rounded, pretty standard, straightforward class, their expectations are going to be met. So you don't have to get too into the weeds about how you're going to go about it. So the other one that I would suggest is to just try to keep it as simple as possible. It's very common. I know I did it myself. Like I was so excited and I was so jazzed about this thing called yoga that like going into like, geez, I still do it to this day sometimes. Going into it to teach a class, you want to share everything you know about this thing called yoga with the people there. But that's not usually what's going to lead to the best experience for the students or your clients. So what I'm really suggesting or kind of getting at here is keep it simple. Just know that the yoga itself, the yoga practice itself is enough. Just like it's really hard to wrap your head around this one, but the yoga practice itself is enough. And if you have a very solid understanding of how to teach a very well-rounded class and something that's suitable for the population that is presented to you, that is in your classroom, it's going to be plenty. You don't have to doll it up. We don't have to fancy it up, even though it's fun to do that sometimes. But as a newer teacher, it's really good to just stick with the basics at first. Try not to overcomplicate it too much and just keep working with the basics for a while. Which kind of segues, that kind of segues into another point that I would, or suggestion that I would give is to follow templates. More than likely, your 200-hour teacher training sent you away with at least one template that you can follow. And if not, there's so many online that you can find. In fact, I have some of my own. If you want to download some of them, I'll make them available for you and you can download those. But I would suggest follow a template and kind of stick with following a template for some time. Maybe depending on your knowledge and where you're at, but at first, stick with just following a template for like a year, maybe 2 years, maybe. And what that will do is a few different things. One, it's always going to give you a well-rounded class. As long as your template's a well-rounded template, it'll always offer up your students a well-rounded class. Two, it's going to offer some level of dependability for your students. So they know what they're getting when they come to your class. It's going to give them a very consistent experience. Three, It's not only going to give them a consistent experience, it's going to allow you to release some of the thinking and some of the brain work that goes into creating a well-rounded sequence for your students repeatedly. So it'll take some of the work out of it for you. And then as well, another one for it's going to ingrain within you, within your own understanding, how to always create a well-rounded experience. So if you were to follow a template or multiple different styles of templates, it'll start to give you this framework that becomes like second nature to you. So if you follow this template or templates for like a year or two, it's gonna be in your back pocket. Like you will always have something that you can whip out at any time without too much fuss or too much thought around it, and just teach a solid class every single time. So I would highly suggest, or I do highly suggest, following a template for at least a year, maybe 2 years, and then as your understanding and so on starts to expand a little bit, then you can start to kind of play around with it. But essentially, it's like learning the scales. So learn your scale. Like if you're learning a musical instrument, learn your scales first, and then you can start to solo and riff away as you please once you kind of get it dialed in. So those are a few little tips there. I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. I'll make some other videos in the future. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, give it a share, hit the subscribe button, and so on if you want to see more videos like this in the future. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. But thanks for watching.